That afternoon, Esther ran out of the house as her mother wept, and she didn't return until nightfall. She didn't know it would be the last time her mother would look at her as her sweet, innocent daughter. The moment she slid into David's car, something shifted, not just in her story, but in her soul. She didn't kiss her mother goodbye. She didn't say where she was going. She just left, running toward a version of herself that felt exciting and dangerous. But what waited on the other side of that car door wasn't adventure. It was ownership. It was control. It was a trap wrapped in roses. And by the time Esther realized it, it was already too late. David's car engine hummed softly as he stared at the front gate, jaw clenched, fingers tapping impatiently on the steering wheel. When Esther finally appeared, he didn't wait for her to settle in. "Why did you waste my time?" he asked coldly. "I called you. You were supposed to come out immediately." Esther's hands trembled slightly as she closed the car door. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I was helping my mom in the kitchen. I didn't even hear the phone ring at first." David turned his head sharply, eyes narrowing. "You didn't hear it?" She nodded quickly, her tone pleading. "The moment I saw your call, I ran out, I swear." David's gaze lingered on her face for a moment, still unreadable. Then, his voice came lower, more pointed. "Have you told your mother about me?" Esther blinked. "No. I just said I had assignments to work on." David smiled faintly. "Good girl." But there was something in his tone that made her stomach turn. They drove through quiet streets until they reached a hotel. Not a flashy one this time. A quiet, discreet place, with tinted windows and a man at the front desk who didn't even raise his head. David handed over a key card without speaking. The receptionist nodded, already familiar. Esther's chest tightened. "Why are we here?" David turned to her as the elevator doors opened. "Because you've crossed the line now, Esther, and you don't get to turn back." She stepped in. The elevator beeped shut. Room 907. It smelled like new sheets, air conditioning, and something else she couldn't place. Fear, maybe. David placed his phone face down on the table, pulled off his suit jacket, and loosened his tie. He looked at her, slowly, intensely, and said, "Why hide what God took his time to create?" His eyes lingered on her. "Every part of you is a masterpiece. Don't you see that?" Esther hesitated. He spoke softly, but with unshakable confidence. "Come on, my precious." The words weren't loud, but they echoed through her like thunder. There was no question in them, only certainty. And something far deeper than control. Her hands trembled as she obeyed. This wasn't flattery and perfume anymore. This was something colder. He walked over, lifted her chin gently, and looked her dead in the eyes. "You want the life, don't you? You want the gifts, the power, the freedom from your father's prison?" Esther didn't answer. He leaned closer. "Then this is the price." Her heart dropped. Right there in that moment, she understood. Every gift, every sweet word, every ride in his car, they weren't free. There was always an exchange. And now, it was her turn to pay. Esther sat in the bathroom long after David had left. The water from the shower beat down on her skin, but it couldn't wash off the shame she felt. She scrubbed her arms again and again, as if she could erase the memory, the feeling of being used. The tiles beneath her feet were cold. Her body was shivering, but not from the water. It was the kind of cold that came from the inside, from a soul that had been touched in a way it never agreed to. She stared at her reflection in the bathroom mirror. Her makeup was smeared, her eyes red, her lips trembling. The same lips that used to sing worship songs every Sunday morning. She remembered Peace's voice in her head. "You're different. You disappear. Sometimes, you smell like alcohol." Back then, she got defensive. Now, she knew Peace had only seen the tip of the iceberg. Her phone buzzed on the sink. A message from David. "Take care of yourself. You did well today. I'll send the usual." "My precious." Esther turned the phone face down. She didn't want to be precious anymore. Not to him. Not to anyone. She dried herself silently, changed into her clothes, and stepped out of the hotel room. The night felt darker than usual. Even the stars looked like they were hiding from her. David had paid a taxi driver who waited downstairs. He didn't speak. He just opened the door and she got in like a shadow. The ride back home was long and quiet. Back home, the gate creaked open. She tiptoed into the house. Everyone was asleep. Thank God. In her room, she threw the bracelet into her drawer, slammed it shut, and collapsed on her bed. For the first time, she cried without wiping her tears. No one was watching now. No one to impress. No fake smiles. Esther. Just alone. Used, and slowly breaking. That night, she didn't pray before sleeping. She didn't know how to talk to God anymore. The next day, Esther wore a hoodie to class. No makeup, no perfume, just silence. She avoided Peace's eyes, avoided the campus fellowship, avoided herself. She thought she could fake normal, pretend nothing happened. But the world has a way of whispering your truth back to you, even in silence. At lunch, Lisa appeared beside her like a ghost. Red lips, designer sunglasses, that usual confident walk. Rough night? She asked, sipping from her juice box like it was Holy Communion. Esther didn't answer. Lisa chuckled. You look like a broken violin. All that worship, now it's just noise. Esther's eyes narrowed. Why didn't you warn me? Lisa raised an eyebrow. Warn you? About David, about what he does, what he takes. Lisa leaned in slowly, voice dropping to a whisper. I did warn you, church girl. Remember what I said that first day? You'd be dangerous if you stopped pretending, but you kept pretending, until he stopped asking. Esther's fists clenched. He hurt me. Lisa sipped again, her smile fading. That's what men like David do. They break things that shine too brightly. You were glowing, Esther. And now? She looked Esther over. Now you're just dimmed. Esther pushed her tray aside, heart racing. I don't want this anymore. Lisa leaned back in her chair. It's not a club, darling. You don't get to unsubscribe. You took the gifts. You wore the dresses. You opened the door. Esther's eyes glistened. I didn't know what I was trading. Lisa's voice softened for the first time. None of us do, until it's too late. For a moment, something passed between them. Not friendship, not pity, just shared pain. Then Lisa stood. Take care, church girl, she said. David doesn't like girls who grow a conscience. As she walked away, Esther sat frozen. She wasn't just in trouble. She was in too deep. Esther didn't go to church that Sunday. She couldn't face the choir. Couldn't sing. Couldn't stand under the bright lights knowing what she had done, or what had been done to her. Instead, she locked herself in her room with the curtains drawn, her phone off, her heart racing like it was being chased by truth. That afternoon, someone knocked on her window. Esther jumped. Who's there? She whispered. It's me. Peace. Esther opened the window. What are you doing here? Peace climbed in quickly and shut it behind her. We need to talk, now. Esther backed away. I told you. I don't care what you told me. Peace snapped, her voice shaking. You think I don't see what's happening to you? You think I didn't notice the bruises, the lies, the way your light is going out? Esther swallowed hard. Please, I can't talk right now. Peace stared at her for a long moment, then whispered, Our classmate Mimi is dead. Silence. Esther's breath caught. What? The girl from that rooftop party, Lisa's friend. The girl who collapsed while everyone laughed it off saying she was just drunk? Peace's voice cracked. She didn't survive. I heard Lisa talking on the phone, crying like she was about to break. She said David gave Mimi something, and then made it disappear like it never ever happened. Esther stumbled backward. No, she was breathing. I saw her. She died later, alone, in a hospital where no one asked questions. Peace whispered. Because David made sure of it. Esther's legs gave way. She sank onto her bed, shaking. I didn't know. I didn't know it would go this far. Peace knelt beside her, voice breaking. That's how the devil works, Esther. He opens one small door, and before you know it, you're standing in a room full of bodies. Esther looked down at the bracelet still on her wrist. Mimi was gone, and Esther was next on the list. You're still here, and that means a lot. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It truly helps us keep sharing stories like this. Thank you. Let's go on with the story. Esther didn't sleep that night. She sat by her bedroom window, watching shadows crawl across the compound. Her hand gripped the bracelet, the cursed golden chain David had once called a gift. Now, it felt like a shackle. Every time she tried to close her eyes, Mimi's face appeared, smiling one moment, bleeding the next. Peace's words rang in her ears like a warning bell from heaven. The devil opens one small door, then you're standing in a room full of bodies. Esther stood up and walked to her dresser. Slowly, she opened the drawer and picked up the makeup kit Lisa had given her, the one she used to paint her fake freedom. She stared at herself in the mirror. Her eyes were hollow, her glow was gone, and the bracelet. Esther clenched her teeth, grabbed the edge of it, and yanked it hard. The clasp snapped. The bracelet fell to the floor with a sharp metallic sound, like a prison gate crashing shut behind her. She stood there, breathing hard, as tears rolled silently down her cheeks. That moment wasn't just about gold, it was a declaration. I want out. She rushed to her wardrobe and pulled out every dress David had bought her, the glitter, the lace, the tight fits, all of it. She stuffed it into a black bag and tied it shut. Then she opened her window and threw the bag outside, hard. It landed with a loud thud in the backyard bush. She didn't care. She turned off her phone, blocked David, deleted Lisa's number, everything. She dropped to her knees and whispered through tears, God, I don't know if you still hear me, but if you do, please, pull me out before I drown. The room was still. Inside her chest, something began to shift. It wasn't over. She was still breathing. And maybe, just maybe, there was still a way back. Esther was beginning to feel free. No more David, no more parties, no more lies. She had blocked his number, deleted his messages, thrown away his gifts, and even prayed again, for the first time in months. A shaky, broken prayer, but a real one. For the first time in a long while, she felt like Esther again. But peace, real peace, never comes easily, especially when your past has receipts. It happened on a quiet Tuesday evening. She was sitting on her bed, flipping through her Bible when her phone buzzed. It was a strange number. At first, she ignored it. Then another message came, and another, until finally, curiosity got the better of her. She tapped on the notification. Her heart stopped. It was a video. A video of her, in David's hotel room. Exposed, vulnerable, recorded without her knowledge. Her hands trembled as she read the message that followed. I warned you not to run. I own you, Esther. One button. And the world sees this. Come back to me. You belong to me. I made you. Don't make me destroy you. She dropped the phone. Her knees hit the floor. No, 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 she whispered, covering her mouth. She thought she had escaped. She thought she had taken her life back. But David had been 10 steps ahead. Tears filled her eyes. Her phone buzzed again. You have 48 hours. If I don't see you, everyone will. She couldn't breathe. Her body shook violently. Her father, her mother, her church, her school. If that video got out, she wasn't sure she'd survive it. She didn't just feel owned. She felt buried alive, and the clock was ticking. Esther didn't cry anymore. There were no tears left, only silence, fear, and the tight grip of shame around her neck. She sat on the floor of her room, staring blankly at the wall, when a soft knock tapped against her window. It was Peace again. Esther hesitated, then unlocked it. Peace slipped in quietly. I know you told me to stay away, but I need to talk. Please, just listen. Esther sat back on her bed, her voice hollow. You came anyway. Peace nodded. Because I'm scared too. Esther's brows lifted slightly. Scared of what? Peace sat beside her, lowered her voice. Scared of David. Esther looked away. I know what he did to you, Peace said softly. I know about Mimi too. Esther's jaw tightened. She's gone. Peace swallowed. She didn't just collapse that night. She died. I know. Esther whispered. And I know who's responsible. Peace reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone. There's more. Mimi sent me messages before she died. She told me to watch you. She said David had his eyes on you, and that he was dangerous. She was trying to protect you, even when she was drowning. Esther turned to her slowly. They dated, didn't they? Peace nodded. He promised her everything, and then used her. Esther wiped her face with the back of her hand, trembling. He did the same to me. Peace stared, waiting. Then Esther said it. He recorded me. Peace's eyes widened. What? Esther's voice broke. That night in the hotel. I didn't know. I never agreed. But now he has the video. He messaged me. Said he'll leak it if I don't go back to him. Peace's hand flew to her mouth. He said I belonged to him. Esther added, barely audible. Like I'm a thing he owns. The room fell silent. Then Peace reached out and grabbed her hand tight. No, Esther. You don't belong to him. You never did. Esther looked at her, broken. We have to end this, Peace whispered. We still have Mimi's messages. If we can gather more, screenshots, voice notes, anything, we can take him down. Esther's heart pounded. And if he releases the video? Peace didn't flinch. Then we make the truth louder than the shame. Let them see the devil behind the suit. For the first time, Esther nodded. Not in fear, but in resolve. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a fight. By midnight, Esther and Peace sat cross-legged on Esther's bed, surrounded by phones, notebooks, and shaky breaths. The lights were off, curtains drawn. The only light came from Peace's phone screen as she scrolled through old chats, voice notes, and photos Mimi had sent her weeks before. This one, Peace whispered. Listen to this. She tapped a voice note. Mimi's voice played, quiet and tense. Peace, I made a mistake. David isn't who he pretends to be. He records girls, threatens them. I can't breathe around him anymore. If anything happens to me, tell the truth. Don't let him touch Esther, please. The audio ended. Esther wiped her face. Her hands shook, but her eyes stayed focused. Save it, she whispered. Peace nodded. Already done. We need more. Anything that ties him to you, to Mimi. We need a timeline. Esther reached under her bed and pulled out her old phone. The one she had hidden after David gave her the newer iPhone. She unlocked it. Buried in the message threads were texts from David. Flirty at first, then demanding, controlling, dark. She selected a few, screenshotted them, sent them to Peace. Then she paused. There's more, she said, voice low. From Lisa, after the first time David touched me. She sent this. She opened a chat. Lisa. Don't overthink it. It's just the way this world works. Accept your role and you'll survive. Fight it and you'll end up like Mimi. Peace read the message aloud, stunned. She knew. She always knew, Esther whispered. But she was scared, or maybe too deep in it to care. Peace leaned back, breathing hard. This is enough, she said. We go to the school chaplain first. He's quiet, wise, maybe he'll believe us. Then the police. Then the media if we have to. Esther's chest tightened. The media? Peace looked her in the eye. If he leaks your video, we leak everything. We name him, we post the proof. Esther shook. I'm scared, Peace. I know, she whispered. But you're not alone anymore. Suddenly, Esther's phone buzzed. Another message from an unknown number. This time, it wasn't just text. It was a screenshot as her church choir group chat. David had somehow hacked it. His message below read, "Should I share the video here, or will you come to your senses and obey? Don't test me, Esther. Last warning." Esther stared at the screen, her past and future standing on a knife's edge. She looked at Peace. Then, slowly, she clicked forward on the first voice note from Mimi. She wasn't going to wait for David to destroy her. Not this time. By morning, Esther's hands were steady for the first time in weeks. Not because she wasn't afraid, but because she had made her choice. She would rather face the storm than live in chains. With Peace by her side, she walked into the campus chapel. The early sun poured through the stained glass windows, casting long shadows across the altar. It was quiet, still, sacred. The school chaplain, Reverend Tunde, a gentle man in his late 50s with kind eyes and a calm voice that always made students feel safe, was seated in his office. "Esther? Peace?" He looked up, surprised. "You're here early." Esther sat across from him, her heart thudding. "Sir, we need to talk, and it's not about schoolwork." The chaplain folded his hands and leaned in. Esther took a deep breath and told him everything. From the first party, to the hotel room, to the video, to Mimi's death. She showed him the screenshots, the threatening messages, the voice notes, even the clip of Lisa's warning. Reverend Tunde didn't speak for a long time. When he finally did, his voice was soft but firm. "This is evil," he said, "and it must be brought to the light." He stood up and walked to his filing cabinet. "There's someone I trust," he said. "A Christian human rights lawyer. She handles cases like this, especially involving girls. She won't let this get buried." Esther nodded slowly. "We're ready. But I'm still scared." "Being brave doesn't mean you stop being afraid," Reverend Tunde said gently. "It means you speak anyway." Within hours, calls were made. Peace handed over the files. The lawyer arranged a secure meeting. Esther's video was stored safely, with full metadata to prove it was taken without consent. But before the lawyer could take action, the school received an anonymous email blast. "Ask Pastor Daniel's daughter about her real lifestyle. She's not your choir angel. She's a disgrace." Attached, a blurred screenshot from the video. The message spread like wildfire. Group chats, Twitter, blogs. Whispers filled the campus. Esther rushed home, ran into her room, curled up in a blanket, shaking as she watched her name trend for the worst reasons. That night, her father knocked on her door. When she opened it, his face was pale. "Esther," he said slowly, voice trembling, "tell me it's not true." Esther couldn't speak. He held out his phone. And on the screen was the screenshot. Her shame, her nightmare, her silence, weaponized. But instead of yelling, he broke down and cried. Her father had never cried in front of her before. Not at church, not at funerals, not even when Grandma died. But that night, he stood in Esther's room, shaking as tears rolled silently down his cheeks. Esther collapsed into his arms. Her words tumbled out in sobs. "Daddy, I didn't know. I didn't mean to. He tricked me. He hurt me. He recorded me without my permission." Pastor Daniel just held her. No lectures, no shouting, just pain and love. Later that night, her mother joined them, holding her hand the way she used to when Esther was a child scared of thunder. They didn't say much, but their presence spoke the words Esther needed most. "We still love you. You are not what he did to you." They later held hands together and prayed as a united family. The next day, the legal team took action. The lawyer, bold and relentless, filed an injunction. Within 24 hours, police tracked David's location using the phone number he used to threaten Esther. He had tried to run, but the law and the truth caught up to him. David was arrested in a private residence in Lekki, his phone seized. Dozens of hidden videos were discovered, including Mimi's final recorded moments. Esther's case was no longer just about shame. It was now part of a larger criminal investigation, one that exposed a ring of exploitation and abuse hiding in plain sight. News headlines erupted. Lagos man arrested for blackmail and illegal recordings. Pastor's daughter exposes predator. University students rise to break silence. Esther stayed home for 2 weeks. She didn't go online. She didn't sing. She just healed. Peace came to visit every day, bringing snacks, memes, even small gospel devotionals. Together, they laughed, cried, prayed, and finally exhaled. One Sunday morning, Esther surprised everyone by walking back into church. No makeup, no high heels. Just a simple blue gown and her old choir scarf in her hand. Pastor Daniel paused the service when he saw her. She walked to the altar, trembling. Then she turned around to face the congregation. "I was afraid to speak," she said quietly. "But silence almost killed me." She told her story. Not in detail, but enough. Enough to awaken others. Enough to break the chains. Enough to say, "I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor, and I will sing again." When she finished, the room was silent. Then, one by one, people began to clap. Some stood. Others wept, but they all listened. Esther picked up the microphone, and for the first time in months, she sang. The end. If this story touched your heart, inspired your soul, or opened your eyes, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, African Folktales with Ani, for more real, raw, and powerful African stories that matter. Let's keep our stories alive. Let's keep truth burning.